Algebra, an introduction. If you're watching this video, you've probably been doing arithmetic, which has only numbers. In algebra, we use symbols to represent numbers. These symbols are called variables because their value can vary. In algebra, you want to pay attention to whether you are simplifying an expression or solving an equation. The difference is easy to tell. If there's no equal sign, you're simplifying an expression. If there is an equal sign, you're solving an equation. And there's two types of expressions. You're either going to simplify the expression or evaluate an expression. When you simplify, you do not know what x is. When you're evaluating an expression, you're told what x is. So when you're simplifying an expression, your answer is just a simpler expression. When you evaluate an expression, you're told what x is. For example, it'll say evaluate x plus 3 for x equal to 5. All you do is you put the 5 where you see the x, and you get an answer. When you're solving an equation, you get a solution that can be checked. So if x plus 2 is equal to 7, the solution is x equals 5. How do you check it? You put your answer where you see the x and check to see if the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. So your equation is x plus 7. You're going to put the 5 where you see the x, so 5 plus 2. If the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side, then that's true, and you did your problem correctly. Some definitions. So the letter that represents a number is called the variable. A number that's all by itself is called a constant. And then a number that's being multiplied by a variable is called the coefficient. Recall that multiplication is a shorthand way of writing repeated addition. So 3 times 5 is 5 plus 5 plus 5, or you could say 5 3 times. 4 times 7 is 7 4 times. And then recall that in math, when things are next to each other, multiplication is implied. So 3 times x is written as 3x. Well, this is repeated addition, so that's x plus x plus x. 5y is y 5 times. So what happens if you add 2x and 3x? Well, 2x is x plus x. 3x is x plus x plus x. So you have a total of 5x. 2y and 4y is 2y's plus 4 more y's for a total of 6y. All right, terms are things that are added or subtracted. So what we're going to learn next is combining like terms. Like, in this context, means the same variable with the same exponent. And you might be thinking there is no exponent, but when you have a variable by itself, they don't write the exponent. The exponent is 1. So when you combine like terms, you add the coefficients, but the variables stay the same. And that's why we get 2x and 3x makes 5x, 2y and 4y make 6y. So when you have 5x and 3x, you just add the 5 and the 3, and you get 8x. 4z and 10z, you just add the 4 and the 10, and you get 14z. And then when you have x by itself, it has a coefficient. The coefficient is equal to 1. So x by itself is just 1x. Let's combine like terms. 8x and x. Well, remember, this is 1x. So 8x and 1x makes 9x. 12x minus x is the same thing as 12x minus 1x. So 12 minus 1 is 11x. If the terms are unlike, do nothing. So if you have 3x and 4y, you don't have 7 of any one thing. So you just leave that alone. In this example, we have a number on the outside and unlike terms on the inside of parentheses. Since they are unlike, they cannot be combined. So what can you do? Well, remember that 3 times something is that thing added 3 times. So 3 times the quantity of x plus y is x plus y 3 times. Well, x and x and x make 3x, y and y and y make 3y. So we get 3x and 3y. If you have 5 times the quantity of a plus b, well, again, we have a factor on the outside, unlike terms on the inside. So these cannot be combined. But if you have 5 times something, that means you add it together 5 times. 5 times a plus b is a plus b 5 times. Well, a and a and a and a and a make 5a, and 5b's make 5b. So the shortcut of going from here to here is called the distributive property of multiplication over addition. And it can be used when you multiply a number or a variable, so that's the factor on the outside, by a sum of unlike terms, which means they're in parentheses. Let's practice a few. So if you have 7 times x plus y, you're going to distribute that 7 to every term on the inside. So that's 7 x's and 7 y's. You don't run out. You distribute that factor to every term on the inside. So if you wrote this all out, it would be a and b and c and d 3 times. So we get 3a, 3b, 3c, and 3d. What do you do if the unlike terms have coefficients? Well, you simply multiply everyone by 5. So 5 times 2x plus 5 times 3y gives you 10x and 15y. All right, let's practice a couple of more. First, we distribute. So 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 2y is negative 10y, plus 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 1y is negative 3y. And then we can combine like terms. 5x and 6x make 11x. Negative 10y and negative 3y make negative 13y. All right, when you see a minus out front, you might be tempted to just put it in front of the 8x and forget about this. But if you see a minus out front, you should think of it as a negative 1 that's being distributed. So until you're used to it, you could rewrite it as adding negative 1 and make sure you distribute it. So distribute the 4, distribute the negative 1. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 3y is 12y. Negative 1 times 8x is negative 8x. Negative 1 times negative 5y is positive 5y. And then 8x and negative 8x make 0x. Well, 0 times anything is 0, so you don't have to write it. 12y and 5y make 17y. These are expressions. We don't go any farther. Be sure and watch the next video. We'll solve linear equations in one variable.